Okay, so imagine a country placing a bet worth over $100 billion. But here's the twist. It's not on the stock market. It's a bet on the future of technology itself. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. This massive, strategic play that's designed to supercharge India's biggest ambitions. So let's break down how this whole thing is supposed to work.
So it really begs the question, right? How does a nation actually build its future? I mean, it used to be all about roads, bridges, factories, physical stuff. But today, in the 21st century, the real infrastructure, it's an engine for innovation. It's about building a system that can create world-changing technologies right at home, not just buy them from someone else.
And that right there brings us to India's grand plan. It's huge, and it all kicks off with one single, incredibly ambitious deadline.
So the big year is 2047. Why then? Well, that's the 100th anniversary of India's independence. And the goal is massive, to become a fully developed nation. The official name for this vision is Viksit Bharat. But here's the thing you've got to understand. This isn't just about boosting the GDP. The real ambition, the core of it, is all about technology. It's about making that leap from being a consumer of high-tech to a creator of it.
And the key to that whole transformation? It comes down to one specific kind of innovation, deep tech. Now forget your everyday social media app. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the really foundational, game-changing stuff. Think about AI that completely redefines industries, or quantum computing that could solve problems we thought were impossible, or even biotech that could literally change the future of medicine. The risks? Yeah, they're incredibly high. But the potential payoff? Well, it's absolutely world-altering. But this brings us to the classic problem, right? The big hurdle. This kind of deep, serious R&D, it's super expensive. It takes years and years, and there's absolutely no guarantee it'll work. Traditional venture capital, they usually want a much faster return on their investment. So who's going to step up and fund the moonshots? Who's going to bridge that massive gap between a brilliant idea and a world-changing product?
Well, it turns out India's answer is to go big, to place a massive, really strategic bet. They're rolling out a brand new fund that's designed to do one thing: solve this exact problem.
And the number itself is just staggering. 1 lakh crore rupees. To put that in perspective, that's a 1 followed by 12 zeros. This is not just a little bit of seed money. This is a massive statement of national intent. It's a signal designed to make every innovator, not just in India, but around the whole world, sit up and pay attention.
So, officially, this thing is called the Research, Development, and Innovation Fund, or RDI for short. But what it really does comes down to 2 key words: de-risk and catalyze. What does that mean? Well, it's designed to take on some of that scary initial financial risk, which then makes these big, ambitious projects way more attractive to private investors. And by doing that, it acts like a catalyst, kicking off a much, much bigger wave of innovation from the private sector.
Now, make no mistake, this isn't just a blank check for anyone with an idea. The fund is super focused on a few key strategic areas, basically the core technologies that are going to define the next 100 years. We're talking AI and quantum computing, biotech, semiconductors, clean energy, and space tech. These are the big arenas where global leadership is still very much up for grabs.
Okay, but you might be thinking, a fund this huge could easily get bogged down, right? Become really inefficient? And that's where this gets fascinating, the mechanics of how it's all designed to work. This is not, and I repeat, not a simple government handout. It's a really carefully structured system built for long-term, sustainable impact. So here's the really key difference. You know how traditional funding is often a grant that, poof, runs out, or a super high-interest loan that can just crush a young company? Well, the RDI fund works differently. It uses something called patient capital. Just think of it like this: long-term loans with low or even zero interest, or maybe the fund takes a small piece of the company, an equity stake. The goal isn't to get a quick buck, it's to stick around and help build a real commercially viable success story.
And the structure itself is designed to be smart and crucially independent. Let me break down the flow for you. First, the big pot of government money goes into one main fund. Step 2. A committee of independent experts, not government officials, selects professional fund managers to handle the money. Third, those expert managers are the ones who actually invest the capital into the most promising R&D projects. And finally, and this is key,
It's not for brand new ideas on a napkin. It targets projects that are already past the proof of concept stage. We're talking about funding to help things scale up, not just start from scratch.
All right, so with all this cash on the table, the million-dollar, or I guess billion-dollar question is, who gets it? How can you or your company actually plug into this new fund? Let's take a look. Okay, the system basically has two different doors, and it's really important to know which one is for you. On one side, if you're a fund manager, an investment fund or a research organization, you go directly to the Department of Science and Technology. But, and this is the important part, if you're an innovator, a startup, or a company with a project, you do not go to the government. Instead, you'll apply through one of those expert fund managers once they're selected. So, the bottom line is, know which door to knock on.
Now, a fund this big doesn't just exist in a bubble. To really get what it's all about, we need to zoom out a bit and see how it fits into a much, much bigger picture. It's one piece of a giant strategic puzzle.
And this really gets to the heart of the strategy. See, money alone doesn't create innovation. It just doesn't. You also need a constant pipeline of smart people to come up with the ideas. And you need the right places, the labs and infrastructure to test and develop them. This is about building the entire ecosystem, all the way from the classroom right up to the global market.
And they're putting their money where their mouth is. For example, alongside this fund, they're creating 10,000 brand new research fellowships. That's a direct investment in the most important resource there is, human brain power. It's about building a really deep bench of top-tier R&D talent for the future.
And the strategy starts even earlier than that, way earlier. They're adding 25,000 new Atal Tinkering Labs in schools all across the country. These are basically spaces where young students can get their hands dirty, experiment, and build things. It's all about creating that culture of innovation right from the ground up. You could say it's about planting the seeds for the next generation of great innovators.
And the timing for this whole push is so critical, because it's not starting from zero. It's building on some serious momentum that's already there. Just look at one sector as an example, the bioeconomy. Back in 2014, it was about a $10 billion industry. Today, it's exploded to nearly $140 billion. So you see, this new fund isn't trying to start a fire. It's designed to pour gasoline on a fire that's already burning really bright.
Okay, so that was a lot. Let's quickly recap the 4 most important things to take away from all this. First, the sheer scale of it, a massive 1 lakh crore rupee fund to kickstart private R&D. Second, the model. It's not about grants, it's about smart, patient capital like loans and equity. Third, the structure. It's led by experts, not run directly by the government. And finally, the bigger picture. This is all supported by a huge push for more talent and more labs to build the whole ecosystem.
And when you put all of that together, it leaves us with one big, really fascinating question. You've got this huge amount of capital, a growing pool of talent, and all this new infrastructure. So the question really isn't if a world-changing innovation will come out of this whole ecosystem. The real question is, what's it going to be? And how soon are we going to see it?